Greetings, TVR2A. This is your video walkthrough for Pro Tools Lab number 8 on a PC laptop running Windows 10. I'll be using Pro Tools Intro, and this will be creating a 30-second PSA, which is a public service announcement commercial, with your voice reading the script along with the music bed that you created during the last lab with Music Maker. So make sure you have access to that MP3 that you exported from Music Maker. That's the 45-second instrumental music bed that you created. You will be bringing that into this new Pro Tools session in addition to also recording a script. You can also see other instructions that are part of this lab. Here is the script. You'll want to go ahead and download it so you can read from it. I'll go ahead and just have it open here and drag it off the screen. There are also some optional files here. Now, ideally, you're not going to need any of these audio files, but in case you're having issues recording your microphone into the Pro Tools session, you can download this audio file and use that instead. Although ideally, you want to get used to the process of actually being able to record audio straight into Pro Tools using either your built-in mic in your laptop or using some sort of USB microphone that you're connecting. Don't forget, anytime you're going to record into Pro Tools using a built-in microphone, you need to make sure you're using headphones and that the speakers are off on your laptop. Otherwise, you will get that feedback squeal. So make sure you turn down any speakers, or better yet, just plug in a headphone so it deactivates your speakers, at least for while you record your voice in. Once the voice is recorded in, you can then turn on your speakers again and you'll be able to listen that way when you do your edits. It's just the process of recording is troublesome if you have a mic with the speakers on. Also, if you had a problem with the music bed, I have a music bed here that you could use instead of your own, but we want to make sure you use your own if possible. Then you've got your parameters for your session here. Talks about setting up your new session. Talks about importing the audio from your MP3 from last lab. You'll be doing some automation. You also have an additional step you'll be doing where you will locate 2 sound effects from the internet and incorporate those into this commercial. This commercial is about healthcare and insurance. So you should be able to find some free effects to add to the production value of this project. If you can't do that, I do have some files here that you can use. You just need to download those and then import them into the Pro Tools session. The whole commercial should be 30 seconds long. You'll be doing automation using a master fader track. You'll be using a plugin on your vocal track. I'll be doing all of these in this video. You'll also be setting up a reverb channel, so you'll be able to get a little bit of depth to the sound of the music. And again, I'm going to walk you through all of these steps. Once you're finished, you'll go ahead and do a bounce mix. That will combine all of the assets, your voice, your music bed, your sound effects, your reverb effects, and master fader automation. It'll create that one MP3 file, and that's what you'll upload to this Canvas assignment. There's also a set of questions that you'll respond to as a comment before you do your last submission. All right, let's go ahead and begin with a launch of Pro Tools. All right, Pro Tools has launched. It's asking us to set it up. Make sure you're keeping track of your instructions. It does tell you how to save it and how to set this up. I'm going to go ahead and start looking at mine. All right, so make sure you are in the new column here and you're in the session at the top. So for the name, let's go ahead and call this your initials, PSA commercial with music bed. So GD PSA commercial with music bed. It's going to my TVR2A sessions folder. File type is WAV, sample rate 44.1 kilohertz, bit depth is 16. Last few settings will be stereo mix. Check mark interleave right below bit depth, and lower right hand corner, click create. We're now in Pro Tools, and we're ready to go ahead and add our first track. Now the first track is going to be for the voice. Before you do that, I always encourage you to go to your setup menu, check your playback engine, make sure all of this stuff is appropriate for your session. In this case, we do worry about the input device. So that does need to be something that works on your system. I'm going to use my headset mic, but if you're using a built-in mic on your laptop, you might be choosing something by Realtek, or if you have a different USB mic that you plugged in, you would pick it. So just make sure whatever it is, you actually have it plugged in. Now, if you're going to use the one on the built-in laptop, you then also have to deactivate or turn off your speakers so you don't get a squeal. My output device, that should be your headphones or your speakers. So for me, I'm using the speakers on my laptop and I'm turning them way down. And click OK. All right, we're ready to add our new track. You can go track menu. You could also do the shortcut Control Shift N, and that's what I usually do. Control Shift letter N for new. And we want to create one new mono audio track, and we want to call this voice. So instead of audio, let's go ahead and type in voice. And it's mono because we're using one mic. Okay, my track is here. It's ready to go. I do see that it says a little polyphonic. That's unnecessary. I feel like it's doing it by default. Not sure if that's happening on yours, but I am going to get rid of that. I'm going to choose none. So that's gone. I have my counter here set at 0. I'm in Smart Tool mode, and I'm also in slip mode. So let's go ahead and head over to the mixer. Okay, that's going to be Control equals key. And what you need to do is get to the I/O setting for the track. This is my vocal track, which is my microphone. So here where it says I/O, the first one is the input. I need to make sure it says interface microphone. The second one is speakers. Just make sure that it's not grayed out. Okay, you don't have to hear yourself while you record, but remember, you will get a little bit of feedback. And even because I'm using this microphone to also create this video, there's going to be a little bit of an echoey sound. And that's just going to happen because I'm recording the video at the same time I'm recording a Pro Tools session. So just ignore that section. All right, so let's go ahead and record enable a track. Check, check, 1, 2. Okay, I can see the track. Notice I hear a little echo. Just ignore that for now. But it is flashing and I see the LED. It's not going too high. It's not going to maybe -10, which is perfect. Now I'm going to make sure I could see my script on my other screen. And I'm ready to record. Okay, the shortcut for record is hold function key and then hit F12. That will begin recording. You could also go to the transport control here and hit record play. That would work. So you have a couple different options. I'm going to do the function F12. And it's recording. And here we go. Right now, millions of kids up to the age 19 are eligible for free or low-cost health insurance through Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program. Your child could be one of them. In fact, children in a family of 4 earning Oh, don't worry, I'll go back and edit that. I'm going to go back. In fact, children in a family of 4 earning $48,600 a year or more may qualify. Regular checkups, immunizations, doctor and dental visits, doctor and dentist visits, hospital care, mental health services, prescriptions, and more are covered. It's a helping hand for parents with their hands full. For more information or to enroll today, go to healthcare.gov. That's healthcare.gov. And I used the space bar to stop. I'm going to deactivate the record button so you don't get that echo anymore. And so now I have recorded it. Notice I did make a few mistakes, and that's appropriate because you're going to go in and fix anything that you messed up. So in this assignment, when you do the recording, if you do mess up words or you say something out of order, don't stop recording. Instead, just take a break, take a breath, back up a few words, and then start talking again. And then you'll go back in and you will cut all that stuff out with all of our edit tools. Okay, all right, good. So I have the voice in. I'm going to refer back to my instructions here. We set up the mic, confirm that the input's working. Once the script's recorded, edit the track, cut out any errors, noise, listen carefully for any glitches, fix any problems. That's what I'm going to do now. So what I'm going to do is pause this video, and I'm going to make those fixes because you're going to have different fixes. So I'm going to pause it, I'm going to edit it, and I'll come back, and then we'll go ahead and add the music in. So you're in Smart Tool mode, so you got all three ready to go. You're in Slip mode, so you can freely drag stuff around. And the goal here is to get this to 30 seconds. So make sure that when you're recording it, you are speaking fast because it is a lot of words to say. And the whole commercial cannot go past the 30-second mark. So you might find yourself cutting out little spaces here and there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and then I'll come back and we'll add the music. Pause. And 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm back. I did do my edits. You can see all the little chops I had to make. I actually spoke a little slowly at the beginning, so I did find that towards the end I was cutting out all the little breaks. And I just barely made it to the 30-second mark there. And I did jump into shuffle mode. I found that a little more quick. I found that quicker to edit with so that I could trim parts of clips and then it would automatically move the other clips that were downstream. So I did most of my edits in shuffle using the Smart tool. I'm going to jump back into Slip and I'll play a little bit of it, see what you think. Right now, millions of kids up to the age 19 are eligible for free or low-cost health insurance through Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program. Your child could be one of them. All right, so it might be a little echoey, but don't worry about that. Okay, so now my next step is do a save, right? Anytime you do a bunch of work. So let's go ahead and do save. You can go File menu and choose Save Session, Control S, and I'm ready to go. It says using Music Bed from the last lab, Music Maker, import that into the session either by dragging and dropping or through import menu. I'll go ahead and go through import menu since that is a little kind of the most precise way to do this. So let's go ahead and go File menu. Let's choose import. We'll choose import audio. Now you got to remember where your file was from last lab, but we've been keeping everything in our documents, TVR2A sessions, and in here, remember all of the folders are Pro Tools sessions, but then we have these little audio files that we've used throughout the class. The one I need is the one that says Music Bed 45-second mix. Now I'm going to click once on it. It puts it here in the clip. I'm going to choose convert files since it's an MP3. It's going to have to convert it into WAV. So I clicked convert. Now it places it here and here. And now here on the right-hand side, you can click done. right? It asks you where you're going to put it. And here on the left side, left corner, you choose use current folder. It should go ahead and process it in. It asks you, do you want to create a new track? Choose OK. It now places the music bed right below it. Remember, you can name things. So I have the voice track, but now it has music bed 45 seconds. That's sort of a long title. So I'm going to go ahead and name that. So double click on the name and just go ahead and choose music bed, or just type music bed. If I hit spacebar, I should actually hear everything. Let's just check it out. All right, the music's really loud, so we're gonna have to work with the volume on that music track. But everything's working. I can hear it. To control equals, I'll see both tracks. I can see them playing, and I think I'm ready to move on to the next step. Okay, next step says find 2 sound effects from the internet, save them to your desktop first, import into your session onto a new stereo audio track or mono if necessary. Slide it to an appropriate location. If you're unable to locate sounds, you can use the files that I include on Canvas. So in this case, what I'm asking is, you've now read the commercial, you understand what it is. And if you're going to have some sound effect moments, like what could it be? What would be something that might add to the production value of a commercial like this? Okay, in the past, I've had students have very creative ideas. Some of them use like a dentist drill or the sounds of a hospital, like the beeps of a heart monitor. I've had students use the sounds of kids coughing or people sneezing, all kinds of stuff. Even one time I had someone do the sound of like money, like coins. And a real popular one at the end when it talks about the website address, it says healthcare.gov. A lot of students find a keyboard typing sound and they put it in there for that moment too. All right, so that's the idea. Now, there's all sorts of free stuff on the internet that you can use. If you go to a browser and just simply type in, sound effects, you will get, thousands and thousands of things. What I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and go to a site which is called Pixabay, and this is a pretty popular one. Pixabay. And it says even sound effects. Let's see. It should just take me to their website. Royalty free. Download. Single click. And then you can type in a name. Like what did I mention? I like the baby crying. So baby sounds. How's that? Or how about sick baby? Sick baby sounds. Sneezing, something like this. 17,000. Child coughs. Crying baby. Baby crying. Coughing sound effect. All kinds of stuff. And you can listen to them simply by clicking. That's a good one. Let's hear this one. All right, I get the idea. So I'm going to use the child coughs just for the sake of time. You see a little downloader here, so you can click download. You're not donating anything, so you can get rid of this. It did go into my download folder, so I did see it there. I'll need to go back and grab it. So that's one sound, and then I need another sound. So how about I do like the sound of the typing keyboard. So let's do typing keyboard, enter. Typing on a laptop keyboard. Let's hear what that sounds like. Yep, I like it. So I'm going to choose download here. Again, it's not going to do all this. You don't have to do any of that. Just close it. And now I have the 2 sounds right there. So I'm done with my sounds. I can go ahead and close that website. And I can get back to Pro Tools. All right, now I do have those in my download folder. I could drag and drop them in, or I could go through the process of importing them in. So let's go ahead and import, let me think. No, let's go ahead and do a drag and drop. All right, so let's drag and drop. I just got to maneuver these windows here. I'm going to go down here to my, in this case, it's my downloads. Here's the two files I want right here. And I'm going to drag them right into the window. So here's the keyboard typing. I'm going to put it right here. Let that render. Okay, it's pretty long. I don't need it to be that long, obviously. And then I'm going to grab the other one and put it in there too. And I'm going to put it at the end of it. Okay, so that was here. I need the baby sound. I mean, the child coughs, that's what it was. Child coughs. I'm going to click it and let's go ahead and drag it way over here. All right. I just let it cover up because I knew I wasn't going to need all of that typing. And in fact, I actually want the child cough to be first. And so I'm going to go to shuffle mode, drag this back over so you can see it. I'm going to grab the coughs. I'm actually going to put it into the beginning like this. That was in shuffle, by the way. I'm going to go back to slip. And I'm going to trim this down. Then here's the keyboard thing. I think I'm going to probably use just not very much of it. Maybe something like this. And that goes way towards the back. All right, that's not too bad. I like it. I'm going to turn down those coughs with the low clip gain. Lower left-hand corner of the clip. Again, music's too loud, but I'm going to deal with that in a moment. Then let's go to the end. So I actually want that like this. I'm going to turn off my music. Go to healthcare.gov. That's healthcare.gov. If I can get that to line up on the 30-second. Nice. And I'll cut out everything from here. All right, so now I have the sound effects. I should go ahead and call that track sound effects. I'll just say SFX. Keyboard typing here, child cough here. And now it says I'm going to add a stereo master fader. And I'm going to automate that fader track. I also have some plugins and stuff I'm going to do. Since that music is pretty loud, I am going to turn the music track down, which means I'm going to have to do control equals. I'm going to turn the music back up and I'm going to bring it down to about -15. Right now, millions of kids up to the age of 19 are eligible for free or low-cost health. Maybe even a little more. Right now, millions of kids up to the age of 19 are eligible for free. Cough is still pretty loud too. I'm going to bring that down. Right now, millions of kids up to the age of 19 are eligible for free or low-cost health insurance through Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program. Your child could be one of them. Okay, I'm happy with that. And then let's just go to the end where I have my typing. In order to enroll today, go to healthcare.gov. That's healthcare.gov. Good. Typing's a little loud too, but I like it loud, so I'm going to leave it there. All right, so I have everything like I like it. I do have the music bed. Remember, it's 45 seconds, so it is too long. So we will do a fade out, but we're going to do that using a master fader this time instead of the actual music track itself. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and go to the track menu, and we'll go ahead and choose new track. And this time we're going to pick stereo. So it says one new stereo. And instead of audio track, we're going to choose a master fader track. It'll place it down here at the bottom, gives me a solid line. And now that is the volume of my master fader, meaning the whole mix. If I do the control equals now, you'll see I have a fourth fader. It's this one, and that's the one we're going to automate so it turns down towards the end. All right, so let's go ahead and do that then. This won't be very difficult. So it's going to be right after he stops speaking, which is right about here. And I'm going to do the control key. I'm going to single click, and then I'll go ahead and click again right about here. So I have 2 clicks, 2 dots. I'm going to grab the second one now, and I'm going to drag it all the way to the bottom. And so that's just going to give me a nice clean fade out. To enroll today, go to healthcare.gov. That's healthcare.gov. Nice. And then, technically I don't really need anything from the music here. I can do letter B and get rid of all that too. All right, so that's the automation on Master Fader. Make sure that it actually is working. You'll notice that here when you're looking at the mixer, make sure that you see speaker 1-2 and it's not grayed out or it's not kind of hidden. So make sure you can see that. And make sure the fader moves too, right? If it doesn't move, then you did something wrong. All right, I think I'm going to do another save. So that's Control S. And I'm getting real close here. Now it says the last few things is I'm going to insert a compressor plugin on my voice. So this will be new. So I'm going to do this from the mixer screen. So here's my voice track right here. I'll go to the very top where it says the words inserts A-E, and you're going to click in that little box there. That's the A insert. And you're going to go to the plugin option. You're going to move cursor to the right. You're going to go to the dynamics category. And then you're looking for the setting that says Dyne3 compressor / limiter. Now I see that it's a little bit off the screen. So I am going to bring this window a little bit closer and do that again. So I go to the vocal track, which is this first one. Go to the top where it says insert A-E. You're going to the first slot, which is A. You're moving cursor down to plugin. Then you're moving to the dynamics category, and then you're choosing DYN3 compressor / limiter mono. You're going to click it. Give it a second to open up the compressor. This is going to make my voice sound a little fuller. And in here, you don't have to worry about the knobs. Instead, you'll just use a preset, which is towards the top of this plugin window. You see the word preset. Below that, it says the word factory default. And you're going to single click on that word and then go towards the bottom where it says vocal comp. And then it's just a single click, and that's all you do. So it's that click, and now you can close that window. All right, now it says insert a plugin on one of the sound effects tracks. You can choose any plugin. So in this case, I used one sound effect track and I put both of them on it. If you decided to use 2 sound effects tracks, one for each, then that would be a different scenario. You can do either, but since I did mine on one track, whatever I do on the sound effects track, which is this one here, the plugin is going to apply to everything that's on that track. So in this case, it says insert a plugin on the sound effect track. On the sound effects track, you can choose any plugin. I go to insert A, single click. I'm going to go to where it says multi-channel plugins because this is a stereo track. Let's just for fun do pitch shift. So I'm going to go to the third one. It says pitch shift and it says pitch Roman numeral 2. And I'm going to detune that the whole track a little bit so it's just a little bit lower in tonality. I'm going to go right here. Okay, so I just clicked on the piano note. Now you can do anything you want. You don't have to use this plugin. I'm going to click the X in the upper right hand corner. And let's hear what it did to my cough. I'm going to solo it. It made it a little bit lower. And also the keyboard typing too. All right, so it made them lower instead of where it was at. That's just for fun, really. And that's on the SFX track. So that's pitch 2. detuned it. I'm ready to move on. All right, so that's that step. Now it says insert a reverb plugin on the music bed track using Deverb and set it to 10%. Okay, that's fun. So let's go ahead and do that. Music bed, we'll go to the top, insert A, we'll choose the first slot, single click. Again, it's a stereo channel, so we use multi-channel plugin. I'm going to go to the category that says reverb, and then it says deverb. So it's single click. Give it a second to open. Now, in this window, it's asking you what type of reverb. Now, reverb is like sort of like an echoey chamber. It gives you a lot of space, so it sounds like it's in like a hallway or something. And in this case, the default is a large hall. And down here where it says the word mix, see it says dry and wet 100%. In my instructions, I ask you to use 10%, which means you're going to click on that little slider, go all the way to the left, and stop when it gets to 10, which is right there. Oops, it went to 11. So it says 10%. And now that's on the music, it's going to make it sound like it's a little, like it's in a hall. A little more ethereal than it was before. Right now, millions of kids up to, and that's the whole commercial now. All right, so that's setting up your reverb plugin on the music bed track. Once I'm happy with the entire PSA, do a bounce mix, and then that's what you'll be submitting to Canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and close that reverb, and I'm going to do my bounce mix. Now, the first step for that bounce is go to your timeline. You're going to click and drag all the way to the left until it stops. Make sure that the right selection is just beyond that fade out point. So you don't want to put it within, or otherwise you'll chop it off. So just beyond the fade out. Choose File menu, choose Bounce Mix. And in here, give it a good name. It says GDPSA commercial with music bed. File type MP3, mix sources, my speakers. File format here, interleaved, 44.1. And it's going into my bounce files. Lower left-hand corner, click the box for offline. Click bounce. This is your MP tagger. You can just click OK. All right, it's finished. You can do your Control S, and you can do your Control Q. All right, now you need to go locate that, and you want to give it a listen. So here I know that it's in my documents, TVR2A6. We're going to go to GDPSA commercial with music bed. You're going to go to the bounce files folder, and there it is. Now I notice I didn't spell commercial correctly. And now I can double click and play it. And I'll go ahead and let it play so you can hear the whole finished product. Right now, millions of kids up to the age 19 are eligible for free or low-cost health insurance through Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program. Your child could be one of them. In fact, children in a family of 4 earning $48,600 a year or more may qualify. Regular checkups, immunizations, doctor and dentist visits, hospital care, mental health services, prescriptions, and more are covered. It's a helping hand for parents with their hands full. For more information or to enroll today, go to healthcare.gov. That's healthcare.gov. And there it is. Sounds good. Sounds like a finished commercial. You're now ready to click Start Assignment in the Canvas. Go to the top, choose Start Assignment. Scroll back up to the rocket ship. Locate that MP3. There's mine. Click and drag it, drop it. Click comments. And in the comments, you're going to answer those 5 questions. You could copy paste them in, for example. Answer and then click Submit Assignment. There you have it. Congratulations, everyone. Good work. And I look forward to hearing your PSA with your own music bed. Take care.